Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into something huge, how organizations are grappling with generative AI.
Yeah, it's moving so fast. We've pulled together some key reports, the KPMG Gen AI 2024 survey, their 2024 CEO Outlook, the latest AI Quarterly Pulse survey, too.
And interestingly, we're also bringing in some thoughts from a sponsored piece on, believe it or not, measuring DevOps success.
Seems unrelated, but you'll see the connections. Basically, whether you're leading a business, trying to figure out the future of your job, or just curious about all the AI buzz.
Right. We want to give you a clear picture. What's happening now? What are the roadblocks? What are people expecting?
Exactly. We've got CEO views, quarterly trends, tech measurement ideas.
Yeah.
We're aiming to pull out the crucial bits on Gen AI adoption and strategy.
Without getting lost in the weeds, no super technical jargon. So, okay, let's jump in. First up, the sheer impact Gen AI is already having is kind of overwhelming.
It really is. The speed is, well, remarkable. That KPMG Gen AI survey really spells it out.
It does. The numbers are pretty stark. 71%. That's senior business leaders saying Gen AI is already shaping their decisions right now.
Not some future thing. And it's hitting strategy, too. 52% see it impacting their competitive position.
And new money. 47% are seeing new revenue opportunities pop up because of it.
That speed, getting into core decisions so fast, it feels like a real shift. Maybe because the tools are just easier to use now.
Could be. And it's not just a flash in the pan, right? People are planning long term.
Definitely. The survey shows 83% expect to increase their Gen AI investment over the next 3 years. That's serious commitment.
What's interesting, though, is why they're investing. The execs, the top brass, they're mostly focused on revenue growth.
Right. Well, maybe other departments are looking more at, say, productivity boosts, different priorities depending on where you sit.
Makes sense. And they seem pretty confident they'll get their money's worth.
Oh, yeah. 78% are confident about seeing ROI within just 1 to 3 years.
And that's ROI across the board: revenue, profit, cutting costs, efficiency, even making employees happier.
Expecting returns that quickly on something this new. That says a lot about how valuable they think this tech is already.
So they're moving past just playing around with it. They're planning serious integration.
Yeah, the survey shows about a quarter, 24%, are planning deep integration, like right into the core strategy.
And most others, 61%, are expanding what they're already doing. Plus, 55% are bringing it into new areas, new departments.
And this is key, investing in upskilling people alongside it.
We'll definitely come back to that upskilling piece. But first, that quote from Carl Corrende at KPMG, he called Gen AI a game changer.
He did, and he expects a big payoff in the next 3 years. But it hinges on scaling it up and investing in both the tech and the people.
A strong message. Okay, so that's the why. Where is this actually taking root? Which parts of the business are adopting it first?
The survey gives us a good look. IT and tech functions are way out front. 66% are either fully integrated or running big programs.
No huge surprise there, I guess. They have the know-how.
Exactly. Then comes operations at 53%. Makes sense, they look for efficiency wins.
And marketing and sales at 48%. Also logical, right? Personalization, engagement.
So the early focus seems to be on areas where tech can directly boost efficiency or customer stuff.
Okay, and how are they using it? Like specific examples?
Well, the top use is IT query support, 45%. Helping IT teams manage complexity, maybe.
Streamlining things.
Yeah. Then demand forecasting, 39%. Think
Wow.
supply chains, inventory, getting smarter with data.
And personalized marketing messages, 41%. Tailoring things to individual customers.
So yeah, it's groundbreaking tech, but the first big uses are pretty practical. Solving existing problems better.
Right. Now let's pivot to the people side. How ready does the workforce feel for all this?
Here's where it gets a bit more cautious. Only 16% of leaders feel their organization is highly equipped for Gen AI.
16%. That's low. That leaves a huge majority feeling unprepared.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
A big gap in readiness acknowledged right there.
feels like a major hurdle to actually getting the benefits, doesn't it? So what are they doing about it?
Well, they recognize it. A big chunk, 69%, are training their current staff. Upskilling.
And hiring, too.
Yep, 61% are hiring new people with the needed skills. It's a two-track approach. Build from within, bring in from outside.
John Dole from KPMG talks about a human-first approach, right?
Exactly. He stresses tailoring the upskilling, letting people focus on uniquely human stuff, complex thinking, strategy, as AI handles routine tasks.
So Is that happening? Are people using the time saved by AI for higher level things?
Seems like it, yeah. The top use for that freed up time is strategic planning and decision-making, 43%.
Followed by creative projects and learning new skills, both around 40%.
So it's not just about cutting jobs, it's also about augmenting what people can do, freeing them up for more valuable work.
Which might change how companies are structured too, like needing new leadership roles.
Definitely seeing signs of that. 8% already have a chief AI officer.
Only 8%, but
But 37% plan to create that role. That shows AI is getting serious attention at the top.
having someone dedicated to the overall AI strategy, implementation, managing the risks, that makes sense as it scales up.
Absolutely. You need that strategic focus, that coordination.
Okay, let's talk nuts and bolts. How are companies getting this tech? Building it themselves, buying it off the shelf?
The data points pretty clearly towards buying or leasing.
Yeah.
Half, 50%, are mainly getting solutions from outside vendors.
And another chunk, about 29%, are mixing it up, some in-house, some bought, maybe partnerships.
Only 12% are primarily building it all themselves, which, makes sense given how complex and fast-moving AI is.
It does, but for that 12% building in-house, why? What's the advantage for them?
Good question. Top reasons are cost savings and better ROI in the long run. That's 63%.
Okay, the financial angle.
Also, customizing it exactly for their needs, that's 52%. And keeping the intellectual property, the IP rights, that's 41%.
And being able to prototype quickly, also 41%. So control, cost, customization.
Pretty much sums it up.
But relying on outsiders, that brings its own worries, doesn't it?
For sure. The number one concern, data privacy and security. 76% are worried about sharing sensitive data.
That's huge. What else?
Being too dependent on the vendor's expertise, that's 58%. And falling foul of regulations, 52%.
So lots to think about when partnering up. Due diligence, contracts, monitoring, it all becomes critical.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
Which leads us right into risk and regulation. It's obviously a massive focus area.
Yeah, the survey said 56% see risk management as a highly significant focus, more than half.
And the top risks they're trying to mitigate? Cybersecurity, no surprise, at 79%.
And data quality, 66%. That one's interesting with Gen AI, right? Because bad data in means bad, maybe biased output.
Exactly. Garbage in, garbage out, but potentially amplified. So data quality is crucial.
The survey also mentioned ethical AI frameworks and strong data privacy measures as key strategies.
Yeah, it's not just tech risks, it's the broader ethical side too. And they have to think about regulations.
Right. 63% expect tougher data privacy rules coming down the pike.
Which is pushing 60% to update how they handle data now.
And over half, 54%, think AI regulations will just plain increase their costs.
It's part of the package now. Emily Frolick from KPMG made a great point. Managing risk and governance isn't about slowing down innovation.
It's about building trust, right? With customers, stakeholders, keeping that trust is key.
Precisely. You need it for sustainable growth. Okay, maybe we should zoom out a bit. Look at the CEO perspective from the KPMG 2024 CEO Outlook.
Good idea. Get the view from the very top. This surveyed over 1,300 CEOs globally.
And what jumped out is that they see tech innovation overwhelmingly as the biggest disruption of the last decade. AI is obviously a huge part of that.
And they're committed. 64% said they'll invest in AI no matter what the economy's doing.
That really shows how essential they think it is for staying competitive.
What about jobs, though? There's so much talk about AI taking jobs. What do CEOs think?
Interestingly, most of them, 76%, don't think AI will fundamentally cut jobs in their companies in the next 3 years.
But there's a catch.
Big catch. They know skills need to change drastically. But only 38% are confident their current workforce has the right skills.
So confidence in job numbers overall, but low confidence in current skills. That highlights the upskilling need again.
Exactly. And 58% say Gen AI is already making them rethink what skills they need even for entry-level jobs. The whole talent pipeline might shift.
So where are they putting their AI investment dollars strategically?
Top goals are efficiency and productivity first, that's 16%. Then upskilling the workforce, 14%. And driving innovation, 13%.
A balance between immediate gains and longer-term capability building.
Seems that way. In their ROI timeline, most CEOs, 63%, expect it in 3 to 5 years. Pretty consistent with the other survey.
What are their biggest worries about implementing AI?
Ethical challenges are number one, 51%, and that concern has actually gone up since last year.
Also, lack of clear regulations, 50%, and not having enough skilled people internally, 48%.
So, ethics, regulation, skills gap. These themes keep popping up whether you ask specific leaders or CEOs looking at the big picture.
They're clearly the main hurdles everyone's focused on right now. Okay, let's get super current. The AI Quarterly Pulse Survey, February-March 2025. What's the latest pulse?
Right. This one zooms in on U.S. execs at big companies, over $1 billion in revenue. And the headline, investment plans are accelerating fast.
How fast?
Average planned GenAI investment for the next year jumped from $89 million last quarter to nearly $114 million this quarter.
Wow, in just 3 months. That's a huge leap. Reinforces that confidence in ROI we talked about.
It really does. They're putting serious money behind it. And there's a shift in how they're using AI too, specifically AI agents.
Remind us, AI agents are like autonomous AI programs doing tasks.
Yeah, basically. Software that can act on its own to do workflows, often without much human input. And piloting these agents has surged.
How much?
It nearly doubled from the last survey. Went from 37% piloting them to 65%.
That's a massive jump in experimentation. But are they actually using them widely yet?
Not so much. Actual deployment is still low, only 11%. So lots of testing, lots of interest. But widespread rollout is still mostly ahead of us.
What are the biggest roadblocks these execs see for their Gen AI plans in 2025?
Risk management is still the top dog, 82% cite it. Data quality is still right up there too, 64%.
And anything new?
Personal trust and the technology itself, that came in at 35%.
That's fascinating. It's not just about the tech working or being secure, but about people trusting it, the human element.
Exactly. And it seems adoption is deepening day to day. The survey shows more daily use of AI productivity tools, more weekly use of AI knowledge assistants.
And more Gen AI getting embedded right into existing workflows. It's becoming part of the furniture.
It seems to be. Looking ahead, they asked these execs about the biggest societal challenge from AI by 2030.
And the answer?
Trust again. 32% believe maintaining trust in AI's accuracy and fairness will be the biggest societal hurdle. It extends beyond just the company walls.
Steve Chase from KPMG had an interesting take on this pulse survey, didn't he?
Yeah, he noted that clear shift from pilots to real execution, often led by CIOs.
But he also stressed the need for dedicated AI leadership higher up, right? Beyond just the tech implementation.
Exactly. Someone to own the big picture vision for AI, manage the complex risks across the whole organization, especially as things get more transformative.
That makes total sense. You need both the technical chops and the strategic oversight.
Especially with something this potentially game-changing and with these kinds of risks involved.
Okay, so we've covered a ton on Gen AI adoption, impact, challenges. But how do companies make sure all this investment actually pays off? That brings me back to that DevOps podcast episode we mentioned.
The connection point, yes. That CIO Dive piece was all about measuring DevOps success, making sure it delivers real value.
Asking questions like, is our DevOps actually working well? And is it helping our strategic goals?
Precisely. It talked about benchmarks. How do you even start measuring the impact of those kinds of tech initiatives?
And the parallel to Gen AI seems really strong. Companies are pouring money into Gen AI, expecting big returns.
Just like they did with DevOps. But, as that podcast stressed, you have to be able to measure success to actually achieve it. You can't just assume.
The same principles apply, right? Define success for your Gen AI project. Figure out the KPIs. Track them. Evaluate. Adjust.
Exactly. The KPMG surveys show the expected ROI areas, revenue, productivity. But the DevOps lesson is you need a structured way to prove it, to measure it.
Make data-driven decisions about your Gen AI strategy, not just gut feelings.
Couldn't have said it better. Whether it's DevOps speeding up software delivery or Gen AI transforming business functions.
You need to measure the impact. See if it's truly aligned with your big goals. Otherwise, you're just spending money without knowing the real value.
Yep. You risk investing huge amounts without realizing the benefits or knowing where to steer things next. Measurement is critical.
Well, this has been incredibly useful, I think. A real deep dive into where things stand with Gen AI in organizations.
Yeah, the evidence is clear. It's not just hype. Real investment, real impact already being felt.
But also real challenges. Risk, data quality, ethics, getting the workforce ready. These are clearly top of mind for leaders.
The shift from experiments to deep integration is happening, but it needs careful planning, strong leadership, and, as we just discussed, that constant focus on measuring the results.
So hopefully you listening now have a clearer, consolidated picture of how companies are navigating this. Some context for your own thinking.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Given how fast AI is moving and this dual focus on massive opportunity and significant risk.
What's the most unexpected way Gen AI might change things, companies, society in the next 5 years?
And maybe beyond just ROI, what other ways will we measure success in this new AI-driven era? What will really matter?
Lots to think about. This has been a snapshot, of course. Keep digging into AI in specific industries. Keep an eye on regulations. It's all evolving so quickly. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.